At the 2025 World Fair of Money, Heritage Auctions opened their vaults and allowed us to document 9 extraordinary coins, valued together at over $6 million. Among them, 2 European Real gold pieces, and a selection of Chinese pattern coins from the late 19th and early 20th centuries, many adorned with intricate dragon patterns. These are museum-level artifacts, rarely seen and unlikely to appear again in the market for years, perhaps decades. So before we say goodbye, let's dive in and learn more about these incredible pieces. The first piece was a 16th century gold coin, hammer struck under Queen Elizabeth I.
Well, I was just talking to Isaac about this coin. It's called a Ship Ryal. It's just such a cool design. You know, you get the medieval portrait of Elizabeth, and she's literally in her ship. It's a really, really rare type. I had never seen it before, and you know, to have that in mint state, it's so hard to come across.
Recently I went to the Ashmolean in Oxford, and I would say this probably is comparable to the quality of the one that's entombed there.
Wow.
It's a really special piece.
How many of these exist?
Only a handful.
Yeah.
There's probably plenty in institutions, but private hands this nice, maybe only a few.
So what, this is Elizabeth I.
Yes, but the usual one, the queen or the king, they're not in a ship. That's why this one's called the Ship Ryal. You can find the Ryals much more easily in the market, but not the ship one, as many other coins in the Pay collection.
The next piece was quite similar, a 17th century Real minted under James I.
I also chose a Real. This is a James I piece. You know, while the Elizabeth piece is pretty cool, I love the design on this one a little better. It's obviously not as rare as that piece, but it really has everything going. I mean, for a hammered gold coin to have so much detail, the centering is impressive to say the least.
Yeah.
But you know, I was walking the floor here, and I actually saw an old friend that happened to have a ring fashioned out of one of these.
Oh wow!
So, you know, it's cool to see. This piece fully intact. So you've got James on the throne there. You've got the portcullis there. You know, even the detail in the back there. I think those are little. Are those little fleur-de-lis? So it's
very detailed.
Yeah, it's quite nice, and I'm pretty excited to see it. I don't think I've actually handled one of these so fine, and I don't think there are going to be nearly any, in mint state. So
Yeah, could you show off that reverse real quick?
oh yeah. You know, it's got the shield. It's got your 30 shillings there, the XXX. It's got amazing luster, and the color on that is actually, super attractive. It's got this like apricot, tangerine kind of tone to it.
Yeah. Is that the Guinness harp?
If there is a harp there, then that's probably got something to do with Ireland.
Number 3 was a very cool 1906 Pattern Tael with a striking dragon design.
We are back here with one of the many Chinese rarities that the Pay collection has. So this is a Pattern Tael from 1906, and this is a very interesting type because it was a period when China actually tried to implement gold coins into circulation. This is obviously a pattern that was never actually put into circulation. As a matter of fact, it is the finest known by PCGS, the top pop. But you know, with the warlord period, the end of the Chinese Empire, and all the political instabilities, they never actually implemented gold coins circulating. So these coins were hoarded by the government and never actually got into the public hands. And to have one, and we've seen these before. They're very popular coins, still very hard to come across, but in this quality is just unimaginable.
You know, usually you see these in 61s, almost exclusively. If you look in recent records, you'll see them in 61s, and really never outside of 62. But this is the finest I've seen. A collector was here yesterday looking at the piece, and he also said that this is hands down the finest they've seen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do we know how many were made?
No. I think the mintages are a little obscure at this point.
It's for sure that a lot got remelted.
Sure. Yeah.
Considering
makes sense.
like the instabilities in the early 20th century China, not a lot of things survived. And I mean, you got it all there. You got the Chinese dragon, the full depiction, all the motifs. It's like a great representative of a Chinese rarity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of these coins' rarities, very little is known about them. This 1924 pattern gold dollar was struck in such low quantity, we're not sure how many are still around.
All right, so speaking of 64s, we have a Tuan Chi Ji, and I'm probably not great on the pronunciation of this leader, but I believe this is upon the quote-unquote peaceful unification of China, but I've only seen maybe one of these certified and sold previously. We have a ton of these in silver, which are always extremely popular pieces. But this is going to be the first I've seen in gold. And I actually like it much better in gold, not because it signifies much greater value and rarity, but I think the reverse design especially comes through better. It even seems like it's got some nice frost there, and I just love to see that in gold. But this is a Specimen 64, and it is just super reflective, super proof-like. Everything is exactly as struck, and these Republican era pieces in gold, they're just super hard to come by, and I personally love them.
Was this one of those situations where this was a regular issue silver design and they struck a couple of them in gold, or was this its own?
Exactly that, yeah.
So it's probably a presentation piece.
Gotcha.
This silver dollar from the early days of the Chinese Communist Party is a conditional rarity due to the high circulation of its issue.
Still in China, yeah. We got here a Soviet issue. It's just such an iconic design for the period, for being China, provincial issue like this. And honestly, I'm used to seeing these whenever I find them, VF details,
Really?
XF details. To find something like this, which it's virtually mint state, it's incredibly scarce, and it's a kind of wavy issue. The dies weren't that great. The strike isn't that great. This one is well struck, well kept, has a little bit of toning. It has everything going for it.
A lot of times you'll see that these are consistent with sort of the crude fashion, so they're all graded kind of against each other. But I would actually say that this is probably genuinely close to mint state.
Yeah.
Objectively.
Yeah.
And so this is an example of coin that was actually circulating.
Yes. Yeah.
And I guess used quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So no mint state examples have ever popped up of this.
I personally have never seen it. I would need to check the population to see if there's. I'm sure a couple exist.
Like
a couple exist.
61s.
Yeah. Which arguably I would rather have a 58 than a 61, which is a mint state with problems. But yeah, like it was something that really caught my eye whenever I saw it.
This Quichao issue silver dollar from 1890 has beautiful toning.
This is actually one of my favorite in the entire December auction. So this is going to be a Quichao dollar. It really has everything going on for it. It on its face looks pretty crude, and minting technology really had not sort of reached the inner provinces, which is why it kind of looks like this. It is reminiscent of what you might find for Xinjiang coinage, with a lot of the rosettes and the floral motifs along the sides here. But usually when you see coinage from Quichao, it's going to be your standard auto dollar, or even if you're lucky enough, a bamboo dollar. But this is essentially unseen in the last 20 years. It's got an amazing pedigree. It's ex-Kann, so Edward Kann. Everybody knows his famous book. This is also plated in L&M, which is one of the main Chinese references. So it's got kind of everything going for it. It's got amazing patina. It's this nice electric blue around it. It's surprisingly well struck. And yeah, it's just a phenomenal piece, mint state 61.
In 1890, I guess that would technically be the China equivalent of a Morgan dollar?
So yeah, I mean, you know,
That's comparable.
It's a crown-sized coin, and you know, similar to I think most of what we have here, crown size. It's the most collectible size.
People like big coins.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got really awesome colors.
Yeah, and you're unlikely to find another one outside of institutions. So
It's really a series of coins that belong in museums. Therefore, most of them, the existing ones that are comparable to this, are in museums.
okay, so
And you did the same as I did. You kept the best one for the end.
yeah, the best ones for the end.
One of my favorite coins from this selection is this 1889 Kwangtung Pattern Silver Dollar. Its main feature is the detailed dragon on the obverse, but the toning is insane.
All right, so we have a pattern issue Kwangtung dollar. Now this is slightly different. This is the 1889 piece, but this supersedes what we kind of know as the dollar, or the 7 mace 2 candarines. This is a 7 mace 3 candarine. So, you know, still trying to figure out the monetary policy of Chinese milled coins. And we've got the 3 candarines. Eventually it would be altered to 2 candarines. We'll also have some more pieces in this auction. You know, this piece has kind of everything going for it. I don't know if you could tell, but it's the patina is kind of to die for. It's a specimen 67, and it's really reflecting all of that. Again, you know, electric blue, cerulean colors. Virtually pristine. It even just flashes because of all the dye polish.
And it's also a generally crude type, generally heavily circulated when counted it, and this is perfect. Even though it's not a presentation piece, this was probably one of the very first coins that were struck and given to someone that kept it to the side.
It might not have meant to, but it's now a presentation piece.
I love the design of this. You know, it's got a big full dragon, well engraved. I believe that these were struck from dies from the Heaton Mint, so you're going to have a lot of quality engraving there. However, how crisp these small characters around the legend are, it's pretty fantastic. Not a particularly popular piece, just because of you know, all of the English on what should be considered as the obverse of the piece, and I think that was switched up at some point. But yeah, awesome piece.
Yeah.
You know a coin is going to be awesome when even a professional numismatist is excited about it.
Okay, the best for the end.
Best for last.
Honestly, this is one of the coolest coins that I've ever seen. This is a type that is very known in not just the US, but worldwide, is the so-called junk dollar. Some people call it, I've seen people thinking that the name is junk dollar because it's like junk type of silver or anything like that. But no, it's the name of the boat is junk.
That's called a junk boat?
That's called a junk boat.
Okay.
So the name of the coin comes from the boat. So it's a junk dollar. They made millions and millions and millions of these coins throughout the early teens through the 1930s.
Specifically, the junk I think was started in 1927 and ran through the late 30s or so.
But as you can see, this is in gold, which I've never heard of anything like this. We've been trying to research it. Still, the catalog is on the making, but there's nothing about this coin. There's nothing about any pedigree. There's nothing about anyone ever owning this coin. It is the L&N plate, which would be the same as saying the KM, the cross plate, or the red book for US coins.
Right.
So I would go as far as saying this is probably unique. And again, not even museums probably have something like this. It's just such an amazing coin. And again, even though they gave it a 61, it has almost like a matte look to it. So I see it as finer than that. I think they were very conservative with the grade that they gave it. But it doesn't matter. When you're talking about something unique,
There's nothing to compare it to.
yeah, grade is unimportant.
I feel like all I can say about this,
This
stuff
is-
is that it's awesome.
It's like
Same,
it's
yeah.
like it's like having an 1804 dollar in gold. That's
Yeah.
what I would compare this to
That's
to
nice.
Chinese numismatics. It's like
Why weren't they doing that?
right.
Well, it just makes everything that we're offering now so special, though. So
Yeah.
The final piece that they brought out for us was this 1927 Republic of China silver dollar. Another incredibly low mintage piece with stunning toning.
all right, so my last one, and this one I never thought I would ever see in my lifetime. This is a particularly special Changsilin dollar, sometimes referred to as the Mukden Tiger. So we've got, the instantly recognizable effigy of Chang So-lin, one of the warlords of China here, and he made surprisingly few issues. We probably see a fraction of what we might see from Yuan Shikai, Sun Yat-sen, Tuan Shiji. Like, you virtually never see
That guy.
So a few years ago, at the height of the market, we had a 1928 piece, which is arguably the more common
Between the rarities.
Yep. So that sold for something like $2.2 million, and that was the height of the market. But there have been significantly more examples of that piece, come to market in the last 5 years. This is probably going to be the only one that anybody will have seen in the last. It might be one of two seen in the last 20 years.
Of this specific date?
Of
Yeah.
this specific date and variety. There's another type of this date that has a difference in variety right there. I think it's a rosette, but we've got the florals there, so it's that much more spectacular. Also, you might recognize the dragon and the phoenix motif in the center there, and that was a very, very popular pattern in 1923 that always generates a lot of interest. But this is probably going to be the most exciting piece in our December Hong Kong auction that features the Pei family collection. A ton more stuff back in Dallas that we have. There's only so much value we could bring here.
Right.
I love having coins from this era because it's a way for us to continue learning about it.
Mhm.
For us to have a reason to keep learning about it.
Yeah.